Dan, if you will permit me, I wish to give you a compliment.
Go right ahead. I'm all ears.
And I mean this from the bottom of my heart.
Oh boy.
Nice shoes.
Oh yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Dandy.
I just wanted to compliment you. I wanted to say, I think you're doing a really good job with the podcast. You're just an acerbic, angry person. Nice shoes.
Oh yeah. Well, you didn't even give me the sandwich though. You just gave me the meat.
No,
Right
I
there.
just threw it at you.
Just give it.
Go ahead and eat this, kid. Yeah, it sounded like a lot of people found our last episode kind of humorous.
Yeah, I think they liked it.
I had a ton of nice shoes comments on my YouTube channel.
Yeah, there was a few references to the podcast in YouTube comments that I had as well. So that was good. I enjoyed that.
I would have never known that a criticism sandwich would have just taken off like that.
Yeah, I know. Kind of crazy.
Yeah, it is. And then, we had a really weird week last week here in Northeast Ohio with these the wildfires that are going on in Canada. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It was like it was just a thick, foggy winter morning is what it looked like outside, but it was obviously here in the middle of summer.
Yeah, we had the same thing, but it's strange. Like there'll be one day where it's not so bad, the next day it's bad, and then all of a sudden the day after that it's gone, and then a day or two later it's back. It's really kind of crazy how that all works, but
yeah. So what is going on? It's just wildfires in forests in Canada.
Yeah. Yep, many. I think they've now broken the record for the most square kilometers or whatever, however they measure land up there, acres burned from wildfires. Like they've smashed the record.
Wow. I never noticed, or I don't remember hearing of like forest fires in Canada. You hear about them out west.
Yeah.
But is this like something that happens all the time, just from lightning strikes and stuff, or what's the deal?
I'm not exactly sure. I haven't looked into it all that much. I did see something talking about how there was a kind of like a strange anomaly in the weather pattern that kind of created this overlay dry conditions for like a long period of time before the fire started. And then once one got going, it just they just spread everywhere.
Yeah. And then I guess they try to put them out, but it's a losing battle, I guess. It helps if it would rain.
Right. They haven't had much rain. And then just the wind conditions pick up and, embers fly and start another one a couple hundred yards over. Yeah, it's just crazy, perfect storm conditions for wildfires up there.
I never looked to see how far away we are from them here in Northeast Ohio, but I'm serious. They were canceling, the softball and baseball games were being canceled because of air quality, and people were being, if you had asthma or some type of breathing problems, to stay inside. And I don't know, I'm hearing all this, but then when I went outside in it, I was like, this is bad. You could smell, it was like your neighbor down the road had a campfire or something. You could smell the smoke in the air.
Right. Yep, you could smell it. And then if you looked off in the distance, you could see like that hazy, foggy look to the air. And then
right.
you don't realize that then that's also right where you're at. Like you're breathing that in as well.
Yeah. I filmed a video while all this was going on. And then, I don't know, have you ever like filmed late in the evening with your camera, and then whatever you film, it looks like it was a lot lighter outside than what it really was in real life?
Yeah.
And the smoke was just terrible, and I'm filming it, but it didn't look that bad on my video. But I was doing a delivery and I could look off behind me, and man, it was bad out. It just
Yeah.
didn't look that bad on my video, but I was feeling it, and
Yeah.
I'm in my 50s, and I was feeling it.
I was as well. It was not good. And I think I don't know if there's any relation or not, but I think it also is kind of hindering people going out and enjoying recreational firewood burning because my sales have been down. Oh,
Are they really?
yeah.
Wow.
Just, I don't know, the heat and the smoke and everything. I think it's just
Yeah. I my I'm not the most organized person when it comes to my numbers, but I do keep track of month over month and year over year. My sales are still up from the previous year. And my June, which the year last year I had a huge June, and I just beat it out a little bit this
oh
year. So mine are still
nice.
going up, but they're driven by restaurants largely.
Yeah.
It seems like summertime, I still get sales, but obviously nothing like in the fall and going into the winter, obviously.
Yeah, and I know that there was a few people on the live stream the other night that were talking about their bundle sales were way down because there was burning bans on. Like no one, you can't have fires anywhere. Campgrounds, you know, in your backyard, like everything was on a burn ban, so they weren't
Oh,
selling
wow.
bundles. Yeah,
Yeah. I hear them. They come and go out here. I don't know, like some of the cities and stuff, there's, you got rules where you can't have an outside fire anyways. Well, not for like burning your branches and stuff. If you're roasting hot dogs, you can have it.
yeah,
So
a
there's
contained
ways,
fire. Yeah,
yeah, there's ways around everything.
yeah,
Yeah, but you could smell that smoke up there then too.
yeah. It was, and I watched a few videos on it, and they kind of showed like the pattern of the jet stream, I guess, was kind of wrapping around and bringing it back towards the Midwest and down,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what was causing it to just this pattern of the air was just coming back into the Midwest, and then I think it went down towards you and out onto the East Coast there.
Yeah. That is still, I know we've talked about this in the past, but there's just some things that I get easily shocked at blind spots that I have. Like when I started a firewood business, I never even considered the effect that weather would have on me in running this business. The mud, the snow, the intense heat of summertime. And then like the other one is I never ever it never dawned on me that breathing wood smoke is bad for you.
Yeah,
I just feel silly saying that, but it's true. I just never thought that. Yeah, you think of pollution like coming out of an exhaust pipe of a car or a truck, or a
right. Yeah,
smokestack at a factory and all. I just never thought that wood smoke was bad for you, but it is.
yeah, yeah. Sitting around a campfire or sitting around your fire pit, just enjoying your evening. How many? I mean, we do that here probably 3-4 nights a week sometimes, and that
Yeah.
smoke, you're breathing it in, and yeah, it can have an
Well,
effect on
and
you.
and then I think of my outdoor wood furnace because I do my best to stay out of the smoke, but you're always smelling it. You're smelling it around the house. Sometimes, depending on which way the wind's blowing, you're smelling it in the house. And then every time you go out there and open the door to throw in more logs, you do get some smoke blasting you in the face.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I the actionable term for wood smoke is PM 2.5, which is particulate matter 2.5 microns, or I guess small as 2.5 microns, which means it is so small that when you breathe it, it passes directly through your lungs and goes right into your bloodstream.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah,
It's depressing.
it is. Yeah. Just now thinking about, like, they said all the fires I've been sitting around, and like every winter, every time I load the boiler 2 times a day. Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
But then I hear people, that I get an occasional comment, people that will say, you're firewood people, you're just cutting down healthy trees, you know, or they think of all the bad things that your industry are involved with, like you're polluting the air with your wood smoke. But I don't know. I sleep well at night.
I'll give everyone out there a little clue onto something. A dead tree produces no oxygen. So if you cut down a dead tree, you are not harming the atmosphere at all. A dead tree is not taking in any more carbon dioxide and is not releasing any oxygen. It's dead.
Yeah.
So a lot of firewood I make is from dead trees.
And I don't know well, if I think about this, I'm pretty sure my business, my firewood production does not lead to any extra trees being cut down. The wood that I'm getting, those trees were going to have been cut down anyways.
Right. Yep.
Because they were cut down because of some other reason and by some
Exactly.
other person. I am no longer, now I used to, but I no longer go out into the woods looking for trees.
Yeah.
The stuff that comes to me are mill rejects or tops.
Right. Yeah. I don't think, and I wonder if there's any cases where a tree was cut just for firewood that was a healthy living tree. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there had to been like a reason, maybe a tree service that needed to be removed because it was endangering a building, or it had a disease, it was dying.
Before I became a firewood business, when I was just heating with wood, I would occasionally cut trees down, but those were already condemned by the farmer because he would say, "You see those trees over there?" I says, "Yeah." He goes, "You can have all them. Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever you don't cut down, we're going to bulldoze down anyways." So those would be the ones that I would cut down, but normally they were already bulldozed down, and I could get everything cut out of it as much as I could until they torched the whole field.
So they pushed it into a ditch and burned it and buried it.
Well, I'm not saying I ever saw this done, but I was told that one of the techniques is they'll get an old tractor tire and like fill it up with diesel fuel and like bulldoze all the trees on top of it, and then they'll light the tire on fire.
Oh yeah. Yep.
None of my farmer friends would do such a thing, but
Yeah. I don't know where you would ever hear that. That
I was told that was one of the techniques.
urban legends.
Yeah, but it would be a big bonfire there for a while.
Oh yeah. And once you get a good pile burning hot, you can throw anything on it and it will just start, it'll just burn it up.
Yeah. Yeah. But then, then all that smoke's going up in the air, and then nothing like what we're
Well,
dealing with in Canada, though.
that's the thing. Yeah. If you get too big a fire, like a huge forest, then yeah, it does
Hmm.
start causing air quality alerts and issues.
Now, there was something in the news, Dan. Did you read this? There's more firewood slash air quality slash studies slash proposed regulations I saw in the news about wood fired pizza ovens. It was weird. It was wood fired and coal fired. I never heard of a pizza oven fired by coal,
Ooh,
unless I don't know
no.
how that would work if it would go in the same chamber as the wood, because coal kind of would put a weird taste into it.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever heard of that either.
Don't you
Yeah.
think? Yeah. So this was in New York City, and I was made aware of this by a commenter. It was under the heading of firewood ban.
Oh,
So I told him I'd look into it, and I look into it, and there's no firewood being banned. But it is in New York City, and from the way I read it, in New York City, if you own a pizzeria with a wood-fired oven, um, in 2016 they came out with a new list of regulations for air quality. So this only affects ovens that have been in service before 2016. I forwarded you the article. Did you
yep,
see it?
yep, yep. Yeah. It's not a stop using banning of all pizza ovens in the city of New York. It's certain ones that don't meet the determined requirements for air quality, right?
Yeah, and they're not even doing it yet. They're asking for input uh,
Ah,
from
yeah.
from residents and from business owners, because I would imagine that whatever the retrofit is for your smokestack to zap out particulate matter, that probably comes with an expense.
Right. Yeah,
It's
I would
probably pretty expensive.
probably one that would make you do a little double take on the estimate. What? How much?
Yeah. So this is not New York State. This is New York City. Because we had that deal about a year and a half ago about these rumors going around that the state of New York is going to ban firewood. And
Yeah, the wood
and that
stoves. Yep, New
and that was
York.
hardly the case. It just required a little bit more research and reading to realize that that's not the problem. But here in New York City, so this is where here we are living in Northeast Ohio. You're up in north central Wisconsin. And I look out my window and I see trees and grass and cows. And it's easy for me to sit back here and get annoyed by a a city or people that find wood fired pizza ovens a nuisance, but they don't live where I live, and and I don't live where they live.
Yeah, yeah. It's something that you see nothing. You have no. It has no impact on you, and it never will. Or
Well, that's always been the way I see things. Now, some people get very upset about all this, and they see this as just chipping away of our freedoms and stuff. And I just saw there was there's a city in Florida that passed an ordinance about banning umbrellas on the beach. Those real big ones that you shove in the sand.
Oh, what?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, and I was like, I should get on the Facebook and start saying they're taking away our rights. If this city in Florida can't have umbrellas, then by golly, they're going to take away my umbrella. But you don't hear people say that.
No.
But enter firewood, and then the chatter starts.
Yeah.
Yeah. My position's always been, I don't live in New York City.
Right.
Yeah, I got other things to worry about out here in Ohio.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I wonder if it's just that like a lot of the pizzerias are not like fitted with very high smokestacks, and that it probably. I mean, I'm sure there's reason and cause for concern,
Yeah.
but I think there's a big difference between saying you need to update and improve your oven compared to we're not allowing you to burn firewood any longer.
Yeah, but how tall would a smokestack have to be in New York City though to be
Well, that's just
effective?
it.
Because
Yeah.
what the heck? I think it's got pretty tall buildings there last time I checked. And it's pretty crowded there too. I did
Yeah.
so here's a perspective. Where I live in Ohio, we live in Trumbull County, and Trumbull County is the only perfectly square county in the state. And it is 25 miles by 25 miles square. So I did
Wow.
some calculating. Um, if you divide Trumbull County in half, that is approximately the same square miles as New York City. So, in the half of my county, if you put all of the residents of Wyoming, Vermont, Alaska, North Dakota, South Dakota, Delaware, Rhode Island, Montana, Maine, and New Hampshire, that is approximately the same amount of people that live in New York City, that
Oh
live
my
in
goodness.
that live in all those states, all compressed into half of the county that I live in.
Whew.
So so there you got a lot of, you know, uh,
That's
You
a
don't
lot of pizza.
yeah, you don't have a lot of elbow room. Okay, so there's not as much open space and cows out your window.
Right.
And then add in skyscrapers, you know, and tall buildings. And I don't know, does the wind, get swirling in between those buildings and the smokestacks from pizza ovens kind of don't
Yeah.
blow away
Yeah. I'm
as
sure
nice as
there's,
it would out here in the country. So,
right. There's
yeah.
many factors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, my point would be I don't live in New York City. So, my opinion doesn't matter. You know, if I live there, maybe I would agree with it. I don't
Yeah.
know. I
Well,
like
and
my
the other,
air clean.
yeah. And the other thing is if they do pass this and put this into effect for pizza ovens in New York City, do you live near a pizza oven in Ohio? So it probably doesn't affect you either way.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
The restaurants that I deliver to have pizza ovens, but they're 30 miles from me.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know. That's the perspective that I have on things, and that's that doesn't happen where I live, and I don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I see it more educational. I like to read about it and understand all this stuff. But there's almost, I think, 10 million people, 9.5 million people live in New York City.
Yeah.
And
Jeez.
that's almost as much. Well, I just named off 10 states. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's one of the biggest cities in the world. So don't you think they got unique problems there? They got bridges that have a lot more cars that drive over them every day that need
Yeah.
repaired, and sidewalks and streets and all. And it's a different way of life. I, of course, would never want to live there. I like it where I'm at, but I don't know. I visited New York City one time. It was nice to see, but there's no way I could ever live there. I go crazy.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
All that
Yeah.
horn honking.
And I don't remember, did they state in that article how many pizza ovens there were? I can't remember if
Yeah, I
there was,
can't remember.
but I would like, that would be the other interesting thing is that, and then if you take the total number of pizza ovens and then you filter out how many this actually pertains to, it's probably a very small percentage of pizza ovens that need to comply with this,
Yeah.
in order to be up to code or whatever. So
I
it's really probably
wonder,
not that big a deal.
I just, I'm also thinking of it too. Now, I remember a while back, I read an article. It was an ex NFL football player opened a firewood delivery service like outside of the city. And he drove every day into New York City to deliver firewood, I guess to the pizza ovens. I don't know.
Yeah.
But my gosh, when you look at it, it was like $20 to drive across a bridge in a in a car. I don't know what it would cost for a truck and stuff. Man, oh man, can you imagine what it takes to be profitable? I
Oh,
wonder I wonder how much firewood costs to get it delivered into Lower Manhattan.
oh my goodness. I don't even want to take a guess.
Yeah.
And or how long it takes. You probably do one delivery your whole day. Like you're just driving, sitting in traffic.
Oh my gosh.
That'd be
Yeah.
nuts.
Well, the short amount of time that I was there, oh my gosh, I just go crazy.
Yeah.
There's just so many people, traffic, and then they have like at every intersection, they had a sign up at every intersection that says "Don't get caught in the box." And like every four-way intersection in Lower Manhattan had like these lines drawn through it, and they called it the box. And it would be like where you've sat at your red light and the light turns green, you can't go through that intersection until the far end of your way is clear. Because if you get stuck in the middle of the intersection when the light turns red, I don't know, I
Yeah.
guess a secret group of marauding villains come out and just bludgeon you. I guess it's like one of the worst things that you can possibly do in life is
The
get
Ninja
caught in the box.
Turtles. The
Yeah.
Ninja Turtles come out of the sewer and take your car.
Yeah. I would probably be in my truck in the middle of the intersection and all these guys are running up to me. Hey guys, would you like a reliable wood heat solution? Hey! And they
Hey.
yank me out of the window.
Yeah, I wonder what a bundle of firewood goes for in New York City or
Gosh.
around New York. I wonder if we have anyone listening out there. Let us know. Send us an email.
Yeah, that would be I'm interested. I would think, well, there's probably not fireplaces in the apartments, don't you think? Now,
Yeah,
like across, there's Staten Island, because now I'm familiar with Staten Island. I used to work there too. And that's across the harbor from Lower Manhattan. And that's more like houses and yards and stuff.
yeah.
But I don't know. When I think of New York City, though, I think of, the Empire State Building and all these skyscrapers and horn honking.
But like Chicago, when you think of Chicago, that's a big city, and I know there's a lot of firewood being sold down in Chicago. I mean, there's producers here in Wisconsin that just send semi loads of firewood down to
Wow.
Chicago.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I know enough from, I'm about an hour from Cleveland that firewood in the city is worth a heck of a lot more than it is out here in the country.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We should maybe start mailing firewood.
There are a few places that do that, but I don't
Yeah.
know if. Yeah, then you got to get your kiln. You got to get your kiln set up.
Gosh, don't even get me started on this kiln. Well, I
Uh,
don't need a kiln the way it's been so hot lately.
I
It
was
is
gonna say,
we're at the end of June and gosh, I mean we're in Georgia in August hot right now. That's how
yes,
bad it is out. It's not healthy.
out of the frying pan and into the fire.
Oh,
That's what it
yeah.
feels like. Every other day is just hot.
Hmm. Yeah, Dan. So I think though I like what I'm doing and I like where I live and I don't see me moving to New York City or Chicago anytime soon.
Or Canada.
And
There might be some open space though out in the forest there you can build some open
yeah,
land. Uh,
pre-charred firewood will
yeah.
deliver.
Yeah, no, I'm glad where I'm at as well, and I don't have to deal with all the craziness of all that other stuff. But again, like I said, it doesn't bother me because it doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's what I keep saying. States' rights, baby.
yep,
That's what we've been asking for all these times. Well, here we go. I'm glad the states have the authority to make these decisions. So. When I lived in Memphis, um, I still remember the professor talking about this. I was in graduate school there. So like Memphis is on the Mississippi River and they were talking about like states' rights and states having the authority to make their own laws. And he was saying like the problem, for instance, in Memphis, if the state of Tennessee were to pass laws to clean up the river, if Missouri didn't, it has no effect because then all that polluted water comes right down past Memphis. And so that would be an example of where like a national policy is required,
would be needed.
to do
Yeah.
that. And I just, for anything, for firewood being banned in Ohio, if there's like a city, like there was this one in east of Cleveland, a suburb, where there's been some complaining going on, but it's not going to happen in the state of Ohio anytime soon. I'll tell you that right now. So, and then do you really think anything's going to be passed nationwide? And I just there's zero probability. I don't know.
Exactly.
Can there be zero probability? I don't
Yes.
know.
Well, because it never really was about ever banning firewood. It was about making, in this case, pizza ovens compliant with regulations that are set in place. So it's not like every pizza oven had to quit burning firewood. It's just if yours was before a certain date and it didn't pass an inspection, you needed
Yeah.
to retrofit it with some new, I don't know, scrubbers, filters, smoke, reburn, something.
Yeah. And then anything with the EPA has been revolving around stoves and, you know, appliances
Yes. Yeah.
than the firewood. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe the day will come, but if it ever does, then come see me in my nursing home and tell me what happened.
You won't remember what we were talking about anyway.
I was like, who are you?
Yeah. What?
All right, Dan. Well, I just, how about let's put a link to that article in the podcast notes. And if
Yes.
anyone's interested, they can read it.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
We can do that. No problem.
Because, this could happen elsewhere. And your umbrellas could be banned too. You can have my umbrella when you pry my cold, dead fingers from around it.
Your pizza tastes great. Your oven smokes or stinks from smoke. Nice shoes. Your oven sucks.
Yeah. Your pizza tastes terrible. Nice shoes.
See, I'm not good at those.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah.
Dan, this is probably going to be our July 4th episode. Do you think?
Oh yes, it is. That's
July
right.
4th is on a Tuesday, so this will come out after. So let's wish everyone a happy 4th of July, a safe 4th of July.
Yes, hopefully everyone had a happy and safe Independence Day.
Yeah, there's a lot of dry grass out there too, guys. So be careful where your fireworks are shooting off to.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right, Dan. Well, how about let's strike up the band and let's go stack some wood. How's that sound?
You go right ahead. I'm gonna go check some. I'm gonna go make sure the AC is working.
I like it. Whoever invented the air conditioner is my best friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to the #1 firewood podcast in the world. And again, hope you had a safe and happy Independence Day. And we'll see you back here next week.
That sounds great, Dan. I want to thank everyone for tuning in and helping make the Woodhounds the #1 firewood podcast in the world. And we want to tell everyone to have
a great day.